Happy New Year! 2026 is just around the corner, and I want to go through everything that's coming in 2026 from Pesto Comics. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Pesto Comics. My name's Adriano, and this is the entry for December 31st, 2025. It's the last day of the year 2025, and we are looking ahead to 2026 and everything that is to come for Pesto Comics. So welcome back. Thanks for being here. Today's going to be a little bit of a longer post. I know it's always a long post with me, and it's something I'm certainly working on. I think I did a little better last week with the review of 2025 and keeping that one brief. I make no such promises this week, as there are so many cool projects coming in 2026, many of which are just waiting to be released at this point. So I can't wait to share all of them with you. But first, I want to get into some changes about how Pesto Comics runs and how we're going to do this whole business in 2026. If you're new here, this is still valuable, as it's going to tell you a lot about what goes behind this business and how we're slowly growing from a couple comics a year to last year doing 2 full series to all of the things that are coming in 2026. So what's the first big change? As far as Kickstarter is concerned, we are going to focus on comics here on out. Now, if you're just coming here and you don't know what Pesto Comics is, and you're wondering, what do you mean Pesto Comics is doing things outside of comics? That has always been true. We've been doing Big Smoke Pulp, which is a collection of short stories from all kinds of authors from all over the place, and that series does really well. However, we're rethinking it quite a bit. Not just for the reason of mixing books and comics being confusing. The main reason is we have so many projects coming in 2026 that we're running out of space to do all of the campaigns that we would like to do. So books are going to take a different route, and Kickstarter will be exclusively for our comics. Still speaking about Kickstarter, I mentioned how many campaigns we have coming. The new thing that we will be doing in 2026 is doing double shipping campaigns. This won't be for every project, but you may have noticed with our newest project, Snip, we are doing issues 1 and 2. And the reason for that is we want to get this series out as quick as possible. The reason for that we'll share in mid-January. However, the point is there are so many books waiting in the backlog to be released that we're going to give you more for your money. We're going to save shipping for you as well, so that you'll get more comic in your hands for less shipping, and shipping has been a concern for quite a while. So I think it's a benefit to backers and readers, but I also think it helps us in getting more out to you a lot quicker than we were before. We're not just doubling what comes in each campaign, but we're doubling the amount of campaigns we're doing. So last year, we did 6 campaigns. Those all went really well, but there was a bit of a gap in between. Some learning experiences we had in there. If you're curious about all of what we did last year, go check out last week's post as we did a review of all of 2025. But what we're focusing on this year is being a very well-oiled machine. So what's going to happen is each campaign will be 23 days, and then 5 days later, we will be launching the next campaign for the next book. I'll tell you what all those books are, but just know that these campaigns are going to be hitting you fast and furious throughout the year, and then we'll take a bit of a break in December, as we always do. To make all that happen, there's a lot of pre-planning and thinking, but most importantly, I need some help. It's not something I'm going to be able to do just myself. I won't be able to actually physically run all these campaigns and fulfill them and do all that. So that means that we're going to be working with a third-party shipper. We're still finalizing which one that's going to be. There are a couple really good candidates. We're going to test them out. We're going to see which ones will continue to win our business. The ones that can prove that they can get comics to you in the best quality and the best shape possible will be the ones we stick with. There are a couple really good, really well-known candidates that I'll be using. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. If you're in the US, you're going to be getting comics straight from this fulfiller. That means that you won't wait nearly as long for me to put all the comics together and then for them to cross the Canadian border into the US. It'll be something that'll be happening locally on your side of the border, which will solve a lot of problems. It'll help us ship via media mail, which is something not available to us Canadians. So there's a lot of advantages to this. One of the biggest ones being that I'll be able to get more campaigns to you more frequently because the work is done. So it's just a matter of getting you the books. So this will help us get you the books as quickly as possible. But we're not just doing Kickstarters. I haven't abandoned books entirely. We still have plans to launch Backlot Babylon and Switch Restart this year. However, we're not going to be doing it via crowdfunding. Instead, what we're going to do is go where the readers are. So that means that we'll be launching on Amazon, Kobo, Apple Books, Google Books, all the places you would expect any book to be available. We're also going to make sure that audiobooks are available wherever you get your audiobooks. So the hope is you'll be able to find those books if you're into the literary side of things just as easily without having to depend on a Kickstarter campaign and the fulfillment and the timelines of all that. The whole point is that the books will be where you expect books to be, and the comics will be on Kickstarter and elsewhere, which again, we'll talk about in a month or so. Another thing that's going to change, I've really been pushing the convention circuit. I've been trying to table everywhere they'll have me. That's something I think I'm going to slow down in 2026. I already got my tickets for San Diego, so I will be going to San Diego. I go to Fan Expo every year. Oh, this year I'll probably only go for a day or two unless we land a table, because I did apply for a table with Roberto, so we'll see what happens there. But generally speaking, I'm not looking to table at most conventions. I will be applying to do panels and trying to get on as many panels as I can. We'll be trying to do live editions of the Instant Ink comic book podcast. Speaking of which, you should find that video on the Instant Ink podcast YouTube very soon, as we just did a live edition of Instant Ink at the Mississauga Comic Expo back in November. So that'll be really cool for you to check out. But the idea being, I won't be tabling as hard as I normally do. The focus for me right now is getting books in your hand, getting all these books created and out there as much as possible, and less spending weekends, sitting at a table, not getting much done, wishing I was at home, getting some writing done or getting some comics together. So I'm still definitely going to go to the odd convention. I'm just not focusing on it as much as I had in the past. And then, of course, there's just the question, how am I going to juggle this all? Well, a lot of it comes down to pre-planning. A lot of it comes down to help. I am making some changes here and there to make sure that I have time to do all of this, that I have the dedication to do all this. I'm also putting a lot more effort into project management and all the stuff I learned from my corporate day job. I am very much applying to this. I'm running this as a proper business. I always have to a degree, but it was always more of an interest. It was a side job. Now I am treating this as though this is my full-time job. I still have a day job. But the idea being I'm putting as much effort into the back end and making sure the business side of things run appropriately as I have the front end and making sure that comics were created and getting artists working and all that stuff. I'm really paying attention to the boring stuff as much as the fun stuff is the point. And then I keep hinting to it, but I really can't say. There's one huge announcement I am holding back. I'll be talking about that in depth in January, and it's something that I'm going to be talking about a lot from now through, let's say, May. So it's going to be a big, big thing. You're going to get tired of hearing about it by the time I'm ready to talk about it. So enjoy this time now, but big, big, big announcement coming at the end of January. All right, so now let's share what projects I have in the works right now. A couple of them you already know, and a couple I'm going to be announcing right now. So we're starting with Snip. This is a book we're launching in January. This is with me writing as usual, and Riccardo Ficini doing the art with color help by JP Jordan. This book is a lot of fun. We're already getting pages for issue 2, which makes a lot of sense given that we're launching the campaign for both issues. But this book has been a lot of fun. It's been something I've been thinking about for a long time until Riccardo actually reached out and said, hey, we should really do a project together. It was serendipitous that he reached out because he's the best possible artist for this story, and it's looking incredible. I'm absolutely amazed with the pages that we are receiving. So very excited to share this as it comes out. This is a mini series. It's going to be split up into 3 campaigns, the first of which is coming in January. Definitely please go to the campaign page, give it a follow. This is the first one launching in 2026, the first of many. Very, very excited to share this one. Another project I'm going to share right now, it's still in the very early stages. I haven't announced, not even to paid subscribers when we still had paid posts at the time, is Crimson Frontier. This is a new mini-series with from parts unknown artist Daniel Caval working on it. We haven't locked down a colorist quite yet. Not to get too deep into it, but this is a story set on Mars. It's about a rancher who has her whole life turned upside down when colonizers come by and try to claim the ranch and the whole town as their own. She has to assemble a group of humans and Martians to fight back, and it doesn't go as well or as easily as planned. It's going to be a lot of fun. Daniel has a habit of drawing super quickly, so I would expect this book to be ready to start sharing with everybody in early 2026. The pre-launch page is live now, so you can follow it, and as we have more to share, I will be doing updates through that page. So please check out the pre-launch for that right now. Now, before Crimson Frontier, we have a return to a book that I'm sure you would expect is coming. Naked Kaiju Woman, number 3. So Raphael's been hard at work in getting these pages in. He actually sent me an email before I started recording that he should be done, all of the pages. So it's just a matter of getting them colored. We should be able to get the whole book ready for print before we ever launch the campaign. So very excited to share Naked Kaiju Woman, number 3. The whole series is planned to end at 5. That said, we're working on ideas to have a secondary series come out. It's going to take a little bit of creative magic to get there, but I think with this series, it'll fit right in with the way the whole series has gone. So it'll be very exciting when we do get there, but that's talking 2027 at this point. But right now, the third issue of Naked Kaiju Woman is slated for spring of 2026. We're also planning the campaign for Naked Kaiju Woman number 4 to cap off the year. Very similar to how 1 and 2 came out at the beginning and the end of the year. That is the hope with 3 and 4. But for now, please follow the pre-launch page for Naked Kaiju Woman number 3. Here's hoping we could break records all over again like we did with number 2 and number 1 before that. So your early support by following the pre-launch page is really what's going to make that happen. Another new series announcement, I can tell you the name, it's called Prime Cut. This one is with the variant cover artist from Parts Unknown number 3, Nate Walkington. So we're working on getting a colorist for this as well. Initially, we were going to have Nate do the coloring, but it's slowing down a bit of the progress in getting the whole series done. So we're going to work on getting a colorist, but right now, the book is looking slick. This one is a thriller with a former mafia enforcer trying to start a new life, and of course, his past catches up to him. It's a ton of fun. The art that Nate is putting together looks so good. So I can't wait to share this one with you, and just like the rest of the campaigns I've mentioned today, it is available for pre-launch, so please check out the pre-launch page, give it a follow. I would really appreciate that. This one is slated for summer of 2026. And I'm working with 2 artists that you know very well. First is Mattia Monaco. Mattia actually just had a new baby, so that's kind of changed the timeline for when this book was coming out. If you stuck around for the epilogue last week, you know there was a book that I was going to release to publishers, but we're thinking of bringing this one in-house. And I can't share too much about this book yet, but just know that Mattia is putting together some incredible pages. He's doing the full gamut from inks to colors, and I would have it no other way with him. So much so that I have this banner with his art that I look at all the time. He's a very talented artist, and part of the deal is I have to wait in line to get him to work with me. He's been great to do so, but in terms of releasing this book, it is still TBD. So expect more on this soon. We'll have a lot more information coming in 2026. However, nothing's been locked down or solid yet, but the pages that have come in thus far, absolutely incredible. And another artist you're probably well familiar with, someone I'm very familiar with, Roberto Viacava. We are finally working on a comic together, a Pesto Comics comic. We're doing some other projects, of course, outside of this with the Instant Ink comic book podcast. We have some cool things coming with that podcast and some new experiments we're doing beyond just having people on and doing the one page. So that'll be really cool. But we're also doing a Pesto Comics book. It's something written by me, drawn by Roberto. It's more of a sword and sorcery book. It's something I've had on my mind for a long time, and if you've seen Roberto's art and the painterly style he has, you know that it fits exactly with that kind of vibe. So I think this book will be a lot of fun. Again, we're still nailing down the details at this point, so no firm release date, but my hope is to get this out by fall of 2026. And that's it for comics and all of the campaigns that we'll have in 2026. You'll notice I didn't mention 12 different series, and that's just because these books will be coming out at a regular pace. So we'll have 2 issues coming out, and then 4 to 5 months later, the next 2 issues will come out. So you can expect to get a full gamut of reading with each series coming out through the year. And again, the reason behind all this, we can share later in January. But the whole point of this is to really ramp up production and get as many series out there at a reasonable time frame. I don't want to release a book and have you waiting months and months and months. I want you to be able to read a couple and get the next series in your hands, which is the key thing too, which is why we're leaving the gap. We learned that lesson from Parts Unknown 2 and 3, but I still want to do it at a decent enough clip that you get the book, you read it, and you can support the next one. Now I keep saying books. Now let's talk about the book projects that are coming out in 2026. Switch Restart is the first one. That was originally intended to be launched on BackerKit. I'm still trying to figure out what the release strategy for this book in particular is. It's a novella. It won't do as well on Amazon and all of those platforms. It's also a sci-fi thriller, which doesn't fit with Backlot Babylon, which comes up behind it, which is more of just a historical fiction thriller. So I'm trying to find out the best way to release that book, if it's going to be wide, or if I just go ahead with the BackerKit campaign. But all in all, Switch Restart has kind of taken a backseat while I rework it a bit and think about how that should be released. I'm putting a TBD on Switch Restart for now. That means all of my focus is going into the historical fiction thriller series, the mega series starring Leo Lucas called Backlot Babylon. The first book, Backlot Babylon, should be coming out in the fall of 2026. I want to make sure that it really launches with a bang, but also I am working on The Price of Fame and Cult of Glamour right behind that. The whole point is that every couple of months, the next novel can come out. So I'm trying to get as much pre-writing in so that I can do what you're supposed to do when it comes to the Amazon or Kobo or whatever platform algorithm, which is not so much rapid release, but regular release schedules. So in order to do that, I need to write way ahead. And it's a very different discipline from what I'm doing with comics. I'm very comfortable writing comic scripts. I can do them relatively quickly, but when it comes to prose, I need a lot more help. I need a lot more effort just to get them done. So I'm pushing this out way into October. I'm also going to cancel the pre-launch page for Backlot Babylon on Kickstarter. So if you're following that, I thank you for doing that. More information will be coming when we have pre-launch both on Amazon and elsewhere. I'll definitely be sharing all of that with you when we're ready to do so. Now, there's one more project that isn't directly Pesto Comics, but something that we've been working on together with my good friend Dane and Hennessy from Dice and Development, which is Bite the Dirt. It's our trading card game that we announced on the Instant Ink Comic Book podcast. I mentioned it on the newsletter, and we just don't have too much to show for it yet. But the goal is to hopefully get this going in 2026. Similar to Mattia, Danon had some very good news with a new child coming into his life, but it kind of upended his schedule a little bit, unsurprisingly. So as he gets all that sorted and life kind of comes back to normal, we'll get back to working on this and get it out to you on the Dice and Development Kickstarter page starting in 2026. I will certainly be sharing that pre-launch with you once it's ready, which hopefully is very, very soon. What else is new with Pesto Comics? Was that not enough for you? Well, we're going to try a couple more things. One thing I'm going to be experimenting with is doing proper shorts. The way I've been doing shorts thus far is just chopping up the long form video and letting that play through the week. What I'm going to try, we'll see how long this lasts, is doing proper shorts, doing shorts for shorts' sake. I want to talk about not just the things happening with Pesto Comics, but I want to talk about all the indie comics that I'm enjoying out there. I am a super backer on Kickstarter. I'm getting comics sent to me constantly. I would love to share the ones that I'm enjoying with everybody, and I don't want to make this newsletter any longer, so I think shorts are the place to do it. It's the best place for discovery I have. Most of the supporters I seem to get on the long form videos found me via the shorts. So if I'm talking about more than just myself and Pesto Comics, maybe we get more people subscribing, and hopefully that helps the whole thing. So expect more different shorts coming out for me. Some are going to be promo based, talking about the campaign that's coming out, and some will be talking about Batman. And we're just going to go from there. We're just going to have fun with it, not overthinking it, but expect a lot more shorts from me that aren't just what you've seen in long form videos. And with all that, I want to thank you for being here. 2026 feels a little bit overwhelming already. I'm not burnt out at all. In fact, I'm very excited about all of it. I've done so much planning and pre-planning for 2026. In my head, I've been in 2026 since about August or September, planning for this post and sharing all of the things that I am working on and is underway. And I wish I could share all of it with you again, come in late January. I'm going to have a huge, huge announcement about everything happening with Pesto Comics. But I am very, very excited for the new year. If you manage to watch this on New Year's Eve, have a wonderful New Year's Eve. I appreciate you being here, but I totally get it if you're watching this in 2026, which, if that's the case, welcome to the new year. So whatever bad feelings you may have had in 2025, try and leave them in 2025. In 2026, let's just have a good time. I'm going to do my best to do my part and have a lot of fun with you. So I'm hoping you'll join me for that. Speaking of, if you want to join me while I talk about all the projects that are way too early to be talking about, join me in the unlisted video on YouTube, or if you're on Substack, just stick around and we'll get into the epilogue. But with that, I want to thank you for being here. Let's have a wonderful 2026, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Until next time.